Hello everyone, it's a really modest crowd. That's what I like, so I don't have any stress at all. So I will be talking about testing your product and features before going live on chain. I think the title was a bit confusing, but my analogy will make sense in a second. So the Oop. Okay. So the talk will go as follows. I will give a short introduction about myself and a bit of Arcadia to make the sense of the whole talk, and then the spoon, the problem part of what we had a problem, and the fork part we will deep dive into the problem, and the spaghetti part solution and the way forward. And in the shield zone I will talk a bit more about Arcadia to shield our protocol. So I'm Zeki Blue. I have a background in computer science operation research. Uh, Before jumping into crypto, I worked as a machine learning lead in a fintech company. Got into crypto in 2018, in ICO rounds, as most of us do, and lost some money. And then decided to switch to full-time career in 2020. And in 2021, joined the Arcadia Finance as a founding member. And I'm now the head of product at Arcadia Finance. I will give more details at the end of the slide about Arcadia, but the slides to make more sense, a short introduction about Arcadia. We are decentralized finance protocol, asset agnostic DeFi primitive to manage your positions in DeFi world. We, in 2022, on summer, we published on public testnet and on mainnet recently 1 month ago, and Optimism. Now we are at the struggle part, the spoon part. If you ever try to eat spaghetti with spoon, you will understand me, the struggle. During our public testnet launch, that we were trying to eat the spaghetti with spoon exactly, and we ran a trading competition on testnet with a lot of participants. And we upset some developers. We had like really high volume on public testnet, and some developers come to our Discord and really bashed us, said, what are you doing? You are using too much of the public testnet. And then also one of the problem is the faucet doesn't really work. It's always a problematic. So to give your users some test Ethereum, you have to find a way. And I don't know if you guys already followed on Twitter that like now there's a bridges, so like there's a value of test Ethereum. And one of the biggest problem is the composability. Arcadia is interconnected protocol, so we are building on top of other protocols as well. One of the problems is the testnets can be reset. Robston was once a Morden, and then it got reset and renamed to the Robston. And as I said, the composability, if you are building on top of other protocols, do other protocols that you are building on top of, do they have a deployment already on that testnet? Is it a relevant version and values there? These are the problems, and oracles are always a problem on testnet. And some asset types are problematic, NFTs specifically, and swaps are always a pain because DEX data is always skewed, so it doesn't represent the real life scenarios. So then we said, okay, we have to find our fork, like we have to eat this spaghetti in the right tool. And how we try to get away from the testnet when we are getting ready for the mainnet launch. We first experimented with the local devnets that every developer was spinning up their own local devnet and then deploying there and then using it. And also with the Girly, we deployed to Girly and like combination of both. But that was also not exactly working. So what we did, this is the QR code to the repo that I put. That is like simple version of what we did. It is like there is a one-click solutions that you can easily deploy on Google Cloud and on Railway. And there's also really detailed explanation. I put it there. So I don't want to go too technical, so you can read it through. And if you have any questions, you can ask me later on. So the solution basically fork a mainnet from specific block number and then deploy your contracts and then host on cloud and point to the DNS and have URL to give to your developers and everyone can use it. In the repo, we are using the Foundry, but I also put the hard hat example. So every dev tooling has quite support for the forking. And the repo is, if you cannot find it, it's if you type fork chain Zeki Blue, you will be able to find it on GitHub. So why is this relevant? What was the benefit that we get? So multiple developers working on the same state. So that there was no different state on each local developer, so we can backtrace it. It was persistent, so we saved a lot of time from individual developers' time, so developers don't need to spin up their local devnets. And composability is no longer issue since we are forking from the mainnet. The exact mainnet values of the DEXs or any other protocols is exactly the same as long as the fork lives, and also that. And the closer to mainnet scenario, as I said, you are exactly forking from the mainnet, and also the deployments that you can already debug it before you deploy it. And debugging is becoming more realistic than the testnet scenarios, and you can create end-to-end integration tests also for your front end as well. So that was really beneficial for us as well. And now the spaghetti part that I will talk about. Our solution has also a bit of like challenges bringing to us when the team gets bigger, and the way forward how we handle that. So the challenges that our solution bringing was like that debugging really complex transactions became like really a problem. So if you were dealing with the multiple protocols like hoppings, that kind of was problematic for us, that we couldn't able to debug anymore. And the versioning is a hassle. What I mean by that is there's only one fork, and then it is if one developer wants to deploy a different version and try to test it out, another developer wants to do something else, it is really a problem since we had one DNS, one URL. And of course, you need a reliable RPC supplier that you are forking from mainnet, and it is closely connected to RPC. Some RPC providers blocks your connection sometimes, so your fork becomes stale. So then the way forward, what we are now experimenting with the different like a dev tooling, instead of trying to again build on top of this to overcome these challenges, we are experimenting with Tenderly and Blocksex and new forking solutions. And we are a bit of like a mixture of our own fork solution and with the different ones still testing the waters. But in the conclusion, I really believe like even from the start, it's really beneficial to fork your fork the mainnet and try to deploy there instead of trying to deploy on the public test nets. That it gives more flexibility and it's really free of charge, that you just need to spin up, and with the repo it's just one click to do it. But if you become more bigger teams, that you need other complexities coming along, as I told you, debugging and the versioning becomes really problematic with the bigger teams. So you can have a look to other solutions as well. So now it's the best part of the shield zone of Arcadia. The Arcadia is on-chain margin accounts. We are enabling DeFi native leveraging up to 10x. So we are not perpetuals. I want to really stress that, because when I talk, they think about perpetuals directly. We are DeFi native, so all the matching is happening on the chain. So we are routing your swaps through the DeFi native DEXs, and all your assets and liabilities are in single smart contract, as we call it, margin accounts. And we are asset agnostic. It means your ERC20s, your NFTs, and ERC1155s can be in the margin account. And we are live on mainnet and Optimism. I I hope you guys check it out. And thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, I will be glad to answer. And if you want to connect, here's my link tree. And that's it. Thank you.
Hey, so two questions. Let's first answer the first one. So why optimism from all the chains?
Because we had a good connection. We really talked with a lot of possible L2s, like we had talked, and we had the same mindset about what we think about what the L2s will become. And that's why we had the close connection with them, and we had the same understanding, and that was the actually main reason.
Okay. I thought it was maybe related to blockchain or something like how scalable is it? Like
Also relate to
yeah.
that, and I had a friend that was working on the research team in the optimism, and like I know what they are doing there, and I know what the research team is like really capable of. So it was like also a bit of like a trust that we had to the team. So that was like really kind of bit of personal and bit of like also business decision altogether.
Great. And the second question is, so what if I want to create my own private testnet? I can do that with the repo. But what if I want people to join that chain?
It is not for other people as per se, but like if you are, for example, 3 developers building a product, so it is for developers. But also in the like a scenario of you want to like run trading competition or like any kind of competition, you can also create your fork, and you can also do there, and without really be subjected to, you don't need to find a faucet because it will be your, and you will be have the control.
Yeah.
That's also benefit you will get from that. But other than that, our most use case was for developers, so that we have the same state throughout the developers journey, and then we don't have to always deploy on our local machines and find a solution.
Yeah. Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
More questions? Small crowd, but nonetheless devoted one.
That's the best crowd.
Okay, cool. Thank you for tuning in. We are now proceeding to a coffee break, and we will be back in about half an hour with many more great talks here.